This is the University of Southern Queensland, a public research university in the beautiful inland city of Toowoomba, a thriving regional hub in South East Queensland. Outside their campus, they fly all the important flags, such as the Intersex-Inclusive Progress Pride Flag, the Aboriginal flag, and one that's a bit harder to make out, I believe, is the Australian flag. Up until recently, the Vice-Chancellor of the university was Professor Geraldine Mackenzie, making UniSQ one of only two Australian universities to have had two female Vice-Chancellors in a row. But who's counting? But as with many universities of late, things have gone awry. In 2022, Professor Mackenzie spearheaded a rebranding effort at the university, with the local Toowoomba newspaper reporting, UniSQ's staff meet with students over rebrand criticism. With minimal consultation from staff or students, she directed hundreds of thousands of dollars toward changing the university's acronym from USQ to UniSQ and replacing the iconic golden phoenix logo with some kind of Aboriginal tree. To be fair, it's a bunya pine, chosen with the endorsement of the university's elder-in-residence. Yes, the university has an elder-in-residence, Uncle Wayne Fossey, who explained, "The bunya pine is a key symbol of our landscape. Our logo will create a new opportunity and a better understanding of our trees and help preserve and develop our trees from an Aboriginal perspective." While the sentiment is admirable, the idea of a logo creating a better understanding of trees is, admittedly, a stretch. Unsurprisingly, the rebrand caused a bit of a stir among international students, many of whom pay substantial tuition fees. They had initially enrolled at a university boasting a sleek phoenix logo, only to find it replaced by some kind of unknown tree, rainbow colouring optional, which they weren't particularly keen to see on their graduation certificates. On the university's Facebook page, many students expressed surprise and shock at the decision, with one student summing it up well. "I feel like money could have been better spent on improving facilities for students, rather than a rebrand nobody asked for." In 2023, dozens or possibly hundreds of UniSQ staff, depending on which source you look at, walked off the job over disputes about job conditions and the university management's refusal to address concerns such as job security, redundancy criteria, and related issues. It marked the first time in 2 decades that staff went on strike. They also introduced strange new policies in their enterprise agreement, including Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultural and ceremonial leave, where only people of a certain ethnic background are entitled to 10 days paid and 15 days unpaid leave per year. There is also an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander language allowance of $3,000 per year, but only for Aboriginal languages. People who speak other languages don't get a cent. And also gender affirmation leave, which allows an employee time off work for the purpose of affirming, i.e. changing, their gender. Don't worry, it's only 20 days paid leave per year, so like 4 weeks of leave per year, on top of all other leave, to affirm your gender. Aboriginal transgender people seem to have hit the jackpot. They hardly have to work at all. Professor Mackenzie commented, "We have a lot of supports in place, particularly for people who might be going through gender transition. We have an employee toolkit and an ally network who works with LGBT people who might be transitioning. We have a very respectful and inclusive workplace. I think the mark of my success will be that we're having a different conversation in 5 years' time." Spoiler alert, she left the university before then. I'll get to that soon. In 2024, headlines read, "Staff to be laid off as university faces tough financial times," and "Job losses revealed as uni grapples with back-to-back deficits." Reportedly, the university had been running back-to-back deficits for the past 3 years, amounting to about $75 million. Certainly no small sum for a university of its size. So, what did the Vice-Chancellor do after introducing paid Aboriginal leave, gender transition leave, changing the logo to a bunya pine, cutting dozens of jobs, and losing tens of millions of dollars? She left, of course. VC quits in wake of job cuts fury. This is her temporary replacement, Professor Karen Nelson. Yes, a Karen is in charge. How fitting. However, questions have been raised about her suitability since her quiet appointment to the role, especially after the acting prefix was dropped from her title. Questions raised after appointment of new UniSQ Vice-Chancellor. But has the new Vice-Chancellor brought less mayhem to the university? Of course not. Just this week, headlines read, University of Southern Queensland to cut more jobs, and job losses set to soar at Regional Queensland University. Is this university done? Can they keep going on like this? While I've never heard of an Australian university failing in the sense of shutting down entirely, there's always a first time for everything.